All right, welcome to part 2 of looking at last data sets. So last class we looked at how to do profiles, we looked at how to do measurements, as we can see there. We have seen how to visualize it using the last data set tool. And yeah, so that was our previous lecture. So this time around, when you open your last data set, again, so now we are going to start creating our actual surfaces, because right now all we can do is measure, and we can make some really quick visualizations, but that's pretty much it. So what our goal is today is that we are going to create a building footprint map. Now this kind of goes into the building extraction, so it's kind of like the next step, but you're going to see this in your in your part 1 as step 6. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is really a review of how to digitize State Campus using a different type of data. So instead of using an aerial photo that we did in Maps 204, we are now going to do digitizing using a LiDAR. Now the purpose of this is that you use the LiDAR. I know that some of you guys get really excited and you're like, well, I'm just going to do it with the actual like background. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see you having like a satellite base map behind this. If you do that, then that really doesn't like serve its purpose at all. So what I need you to do is you're going to create a Geodatabase. So you're going to right click on the folder. You're going to go to New. And you're going to go to File Geodatabase. And then in the File Geodatabase, you are going to be calling this State Campus. Then you're going to right click it and you're going to say New. And you're going to go to Dataset. This time we're going to go with Buildings. So we're going to say Next. We're going to make sure it's in the same coordinate system as our data set. So we can see that that's in the wrong one for me. So I'm going to go to National Grids, I'm going to go to Canada, and I'm going to find my NAT83 3TM 114. Press Next, Next, and Finish. So now I have buildings. The other thing that I'm going to try to determine is I'm going to try to find roads or transportation. Next, again making sure it's in the same coordinate system. Next, next, and finish. And my last data set is going to be other. Next, double check that's the right one. Next, next, and finish. All right. So now that we've created these data sets, now we can create some feature classes. So I'm going to right click on one of the feature classes. So I'm going to Buildings. And I'm going to go to New and Feature Class. My first one is going to be Lecture Buildings. I'm going to not have a space in there. And it is a polygon. And I can press Next, Next. If I want to put a name in there, I can say Name. And this is going to be Text. And then Finish. It's going to think while it creates it. Now you have a choice. You can either keep building these or you can start doing some editing. It's up to you. I'm going to keep building these first. So my next one, feature class, is Other Buildings. Next, next. Put a name in, and text, and finish. So I have those two. We need to have residences. And then next, next, name, text, and finish. All right, so I have those 3 buildings. My transportation, I'm going to say New, Feature Class. I'm going to say Roads, and these are lines. Next, next. I can also put a name in there, and finish. and then I can go new feature class, and I'm going to say sidewalks or paths, and that is also a line. Next, next. These are not going to have a name, so I'm just going to leave them out and finish. My others might be things such as stores or other buildings, small buildings. So this could be something that's off campus that I think is important for me to capture. I'm going to leave that as a polygon. Like that. I can also have some point features in here, so I might say new feature class. I might have a couple trees in there. And these are going to be point features. Next, next, and finish. And that should be it. So these are not going to be complicated. They're not going to, you don't need to put in quite as much as what we did before. And then what you're going to do is you're going to decide on how you want to visualize this data. So right now, I think this is a good way for me to see my buildings. And I know SAIT well enough that I can decide on like what a building is. so I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to leave it on this particular visualization. But, you know, maybe the contour might be better. Let me think about that one. That one actually might be better because I can really clearly see the edges of each individual building. So I'm going to use that one, and I can just use some generalization around each edge. So, and I'm going to use my red lines, I think, for that. So to do this, I have them over here. So I'm going to start with my lecture buildings. I'm going to go up to editor. If you don't have editor, if you don't have an editor toolbar somewhere, you will go to the gray area in the menu bar, right click it, and turn on editor. So we're going to go to editor and start editing. Now some of you will have something pop up over here called create features. Some of you may not. If you don't have create features that shows up, you have to go to this little menu that looks like a little list. You would select that and it will show up here. So I've got all of these so I can work on all of them at the same time. So I'm going to highlight lecture buildings. I'm going to go down to polygon, and then I'm going to start drawing my points. Now there is snapping that you can turn on, so you're welcome to use snapping. Right now mine is not, I don't have lines turned on. But you're going to try to digitize these buildings based on the points, but also based on rectangularism and parallelism. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, when you go to write a methodology about what I just showed you here, and then you'll just keep going with these different buildings. When you go to write methodology, what am I looking for? Well, what I'm really looking for in methodology is you to tell me, what kind of surface did I choose? Why did I choose it? And then did I have to change it for the different types of features, land features, right? So the buildings, this works great. But if I'm trying to identify roads, it doesn't do me any good at all. So when you're going to when you're going to talk about this and you're going to try to identify these different features, you need to discuss what that was. And did you apply a filter? So maybe you only went with first return to do this. So that's what I'm looking for when you start discussing your methodology for doing this map. And so let's see, I'll just do Heritage Hall here. And then I also want you to talk about in your methodology, how did you choose the corners? So I'm just doing a really quick job here, but just because I want to get through this and kind of give you an idea of what individual things are. I want you to, how did you identify the feature? Tell me, how did you implement rectangularism and parallelism? And what would be another thing to talk about? And then what were the different feature data sets and feature classes that you created? If you added any attributes, so what would those be? So you haven't seen me doing attributes here. So if I use this one, like actually here, let's go to editor. I'm going to save my edits so that I have that. I'm going to use my select feature. And I'm going to, I have lecture buildings. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to open attribute table. And the name here is empty. So my number 3 is this one here. So I'm going to call this one, that's the StanGrad. StanGrad. That's this, my second one, if I highlight this one, that's this building here. And so that one is the John Ware building. Might have to double click to get it to go in there. And then here, this one was my Aldred Center. Okay. So now I've saved those. Now I can go to editor, save my edits. So I have those names put in. Now if I wanted to continue doing another feature class, so let's say I wanted to switch to maybe roads. I'm going to go back to my create feature and I'm going to select roads. But the problem is, again, that I cannot see my roads using this particular filter or this particular type of surface. I'm going to pan up to 16th Ave here. So how am I going to be able to identify 16th Ave? So contours obviously doesn't work. So let's try elevation. Let's see if that shows me my road. That one has a little bit of a better surface, so that might make more sense for me to draw the road there. Maybe there's another one that might work better. I could try return maybe and see how that shows up. No, that one's not a very good one. What about class? Nope, not that one. So elevation is my thing, and I'm going to use elevation, and I can see where the road is. So now I'm going to try to zoom out as much as I can before it like stops being able to show me. Got highlighted roads. I'm going to go to create features. I have roads highlighted. I'm going to click line. So now I can, because roads have a particular name, so I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to pan over. And how I did that was with my mouse wheel. And then I'm going to stop at in the middle of 14th here. And then maybe I'm going to do another one. I'm going to start here. I'm going to pan up. Oops, I zoomed out too much. I'm going to pan up. Then set another point. Use my mouse wheel. And maybe end there. So there's that road. Then I can go through and I can continue drawing roads throughout. I can draw them within SATE. And connect them. So maybe let's go back to 14th. Maybe you want to show these off ramps, so I could draw that in. Again, I can create features, line. So maybe I want to go from here. And there's this road that comes off. Right? So as you're digitizing, think about, okay, I have names for these roads, and I have what kind of features really important for me to capture. Are these supposed to be double lines? Should I have one going one direction, the other going the other direction? Should they be looped together or should they be separate? There is a lot of questions you can ask yourself for that. The one thing I did notice though is that I don't have a place for parking lots. So I'm going to go to transportation. I'm going to go to new feature class. Oh, it's in editing here, so I have to say save edits. I'm going to stop editing. Then I go right click on transportation, go to new feature class, and this is my parking lots. and that one's a polygon. So I go next, next, and I can say parking number. And then this one's going to be a short integer and finish, because it's usually like 6 or 1 or 10 or something like that. So again, I'm not looking for a lot, but try to capture as much as you can for the features on campus, keeping in mind how you did it, what you were looking for to create it, what surface you used, what were your database, like the feature data set and feature classes, what were those that you used, and then and yeah, so that those are really key. So, and then editor save edits. Okay, then I can go to my layout, and it's going to load. Now what I want you to do is to lessen this. So if we highlight my last data set, I want you to apply lighter colors or transparency. I'm going to go to Properties, Display. I'm going to reduce it a little bit. Point density. Symbology. Well, not based on return number in this case. Perhaps I can do a little bit lighter color. Oh no, that one's fine. Just double check any of these that I have. Apply. Okay. Probably broken because I've been doing everything on the server here. Okay, got that. Now let's go back to the layout. There we go. Okay. All right. Well, let's reduce this down, and I will let you guys work on making sure that you have the background, because I want to see the LiDAR in the background. That's necessary. The reason being is that I don't want you using the aerial photo to be making your changes, right? So that's why I'm making you put this in the background. But I need to see all of your features, so you might see that. Zoom full extent. It may not even let me do that because it's got too many data points. Yeah, it won't let me do that. 10,000. Let's try 1,000. That's where it was. Oh, it's thinking. There we go. All right, so I may end up doing this, but I want to be able to see some of your data points. So you may find even what we had there, if you, because you can see it goes down fair ways. If you want to take like a screen capture of everything and bring it in as like a little side picture, you can certainly do that, like as an inset, or find a way to have it at the background, because it is a big picture, and with all the data points it's going to struggle. As you can see, it's just going to show me the red boxes, but I want to see those data points underneath. So you can give me some insets of the different parts. So once you're done here, what I want you to do is go to Insert. You're going to have a title, say to Campus, and you're going to add in all 10 elements, right? So we're going to have the title, you're going to have a neat line. It's already got the neat line, but if you want to change it, you can. You're going to have a legend, you're going to have a north arrow, a scale bar, scale text. You're going to have the coordinate system. You're going to tell me that you're using the SATE LiDAR data that you got from me. So that is, otherwise it's considered plagiarism, right? Because you're stealing data. and you're not actually acknowledging where you got it from, so you have to state that. So source citation is really important. You have your name, your date that you created the map, map projection. Yeah, those are the 4 that are like that. So the list, title, your name, the date you created the map. You're going to have a north arrow. You're going to have the neat line that goes around it. You're going to have a legend. You're going to say where you got your source information. You're going to say the map projection. And you're going to say you're going to have a scale ratio and a scale bar. So you need all 10 of those on there as well to get the full marks. So I do list them on your handout for part 1, so make sure you include them because it is worth 5 marks to have all of those. So that is what like in the end you'll have a map with all your state campus on here with all the features around it, and you're going to have something showing me in the background that you actually digitized to the point cloud. So either you have the point cloud showing in the background or you have little photos around your page to show that it has been digitized to that. And yeah, so that is how you create a building footprint map. And so that's what's going to be expected for the part 1.